Hi, my name is Benny Johnson. As some of you know, I've been struggling with addiction. However, I decided to change my life and went into recovery. I've started this podcast 90 Days Clean, and I want to take you along in my journey. What does lie ahead of me? Let me be frank, I do not know. Will I ever drink again? I do not know. This is how Stairway to Redemption was born. It is my search for answer in a real-time process of what is going to work for me. It is then my aspiration to help you figure out what is going to work for you. It is our journey together. Welcome to Stairway to Redemption, a podcast about addiction and recovery. Today, my guest is Jeff. Jeff and I met in our outpatient program. We've been together for since almost October, I feel, right? 6 months. Jeff approached me to be a guest in my podcast, other people who've been, if you listen to previous episodes, who've been with me on this, in my outpatient program where I go on Long Island. So Jeff, why don't you introduce yourself?
How you doing? Stairway to Redemption. My name is Jeff Bettis. Recovering, and the same group as Benny, like he had alluded to. And I'm here.
All right. So here at Stairway to Redemption, we like to start with the State of the Mind address. It's basically a play on word on State of the Union address. How you doing? something more substantial than I'm just doing fine. What's going on lately,
I'm feeling good. I know I have been a little stressed this week. I have a new counselor. It's been a transition for me because I was used to the same counselor, Joe, that everybody's pretty much familiar with here. And, his ideology was very impactful on my life because it changed the way I think about things and how I think about everything. So having new people step in, it's been tough, but I feel good and optimistic.
Okay, that's good. I can attest to that. When I got stepped down to a 1 hour group, from intensive to clinic. Changing counselor was a little bit daunting at first, but I warm up to it. It grew on me my new counselor grew on me for sure because, it's change. Change is what makes things sometimes difficult, not the person itself, not the counselor itself, but just the change because you're so used to them, they know you, and sometimes having to reiterate or tell your story again can be so annoying.
Reintroducing yourself, and retelling your
story and be I've been there again. It takes time and effort.
And you don't even want to let everybody in.
Exactly. You want to be selective of who you let in, you know? And that's rightfully so because it's so personal, especially when you're in recovery and in trying to get out of addiction.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
All right, so let's jump into it. What's your story, Jeff? Tell us, how did you come to the rooms of recovery?
I had an interesting way of coming in, but I'm sure it's not uncommon. I came in, willingly, and it was voluntarily, but I also was a product of being arrested. So when you get arrested with a substance, my substance happened to be cocaine.
You're allowed to say that, yeah.
I just making sure. I had a decent amount on me at the time, and the situation ultimately led me to recovery because I realized I had a problem, but it was forced because of the fact that I knew this is the only way I could avoid jail. Something that I've been in and wrongfully accused at that time, but now rightfully, so I just took the steps to prepare for a program as opposed to jail time.
Okay, so when you say wrongfully accused, can you So that's a different case?
This is a different case. This is when I was 20. I was in college at the time, and my junior year. And it was the first month of my junior year. So, I'm optimistic. I'm 3.0 student, killing it, making everybody happy, and making myself happy as well. Too much, I think, and I was on top of the world, I felt like, untouchable even. But, I get pulled over after a party. I'm home from a party. I get pulled over for a crime that I had no idea happened, and they accused me mostly because of the color of my skin, and I fit the description. This lady points me out in what they call a spot lineup. So I fit the description at the time, and me and my friend, who was actually in the back seat, I was in the passenger seat. The driver, he went home. So just that alone, it made me think negatively about that, because I didn't get to go home. I had to spend 8 months at Rikers Island until my case was acquitted of all charges. I had to take it to trial and acquit myself of all charges. My friends came, supported, of course, because I was at a party, but the victim, who I never met, got robbed of $26, mind you, and I'm in college, and this is taking away my whole college experience, but neither here nor there. I'm just saying that to say that my, experience with law enforcement
and the judicial system
was on a negative note from that moment on.
Okay.
Originally, I had even went to school for criminal justice, mind you, but I changed it to business and accounting, but, it just because of personal reasons, but this just made me all the way I'm not anti-cop now, but it took time. It took these 10 years. Like, that was 2011. I got released, and that was through trial, like I said. But
because you didn't play guilty, right? You didn't take any deal.
No, I didn't take a deal
because you knew you were like innocent, right?
Exactly. And a lot of people in my situation would have just taken probation because it was my first offense. But I didn't. Now, it broke me down because I want to say 6 months in to my being detained, because you're not in jail yet, you're just detained until your trial. I'm sitting there at Rikers, it's not my element, and from classroom to cell is different than, people could imagine. So I wanted out. It was actually my birthday. My lawyer came up to me and said, we got this deal, do you want to take it? And at this point, it's my birthday month, I just want to go home. And I was like, yes. Then he comes back maybe 30 minutes later and says, no, we're taking it to trial. Now I'm irate almost, because I'm feeling like, don't play with my emotions. I'm already in here. I need to, either be in here or not, because it's two different lifestyles, So, long story short, like, I didn't take the deal, and I went to trial, and they found me not guilty, acquitted of all charges, wiped from my record. So this new incidents with the law enforcement, this is something I'm not familiar with. I've been strip search, I've been everything before, but it just felt like that again. But this time I had to pay a consequence, and I knew the consequence could be mitigated by joining a program like this.
Okay.
Yes.
Like, did you had so much weight on you that thought you were selling to?
Yeah,
okay.
I did have a decent amount on me at the time, and it just put me in a bad light already. So this is now my first offense again, right? Because they acquitted me and wiped that clean. That's what they say. Mind you, it was hard to get jobs after that. It's not like my lifestyle turned back to normal, like I'm back in college, because now I'm back on the street. And now I'm back home with mama, the person I was at the time. So it changed my lifestyle, my perspective, and I had to adjust. And yes, the streets helped in that sense. I didn't go immediately to drugs. Weed was definitely an option.
So about that, how was your drug consumption before and after Rikers?
Before, it was alcohol and weed only. And that was because I was living the college life, freshman, sophomore year. It was fun, house parties, I actually did have weed. I could say statute of limitation now. I did sell weed then. And I was a person who was just paying for school.
Yeah.
With that, I didn't have my father. My mother barely helped. It wasn't really.
What was your consumption after Rikers?
Consumption definitely increased. I smoked more weed than I've ever, before, because mostly because it was, I was bored. I wasn't the same. I felt down. I was a different person. I ultimately got jobs, but I felt like I was overqualified for a lot of jobs. I worked at Walmart, Target, Home Depot, everywhere. And just wasn't living up to my full potential, though. I got a school job, which was great. That really put me in a different headspace. So I started working in a high school, and that kind of slowed me down. But it also ramped it up because at the same time I got the school job, my father had passed. So I learned about a different drug, and that was
okay. I see.
And it would keep me up, keep me, energized or whatever, but to go to school.
What stopped you from going back to school right after getting back from Rikers?
The stigma and also the setting. It wasn't the same in my head. Like I dealt with a lot of I'm in a setting of a classroom, but it feels like a setting of a jail conference, but in my head, because I tried to physically do it. I even enrolled and everything, but I didn't have my scholarship. There's a stigma attached to me. Did he do it? Did he not?
Yeah.
So my friends are already in the next grade now, graduate. They're in their senior year. I'm still in my junior because they took me away my whole junior year.
Yeah.
So that alone, I sat there for a month. I couldn't, and I ultimately declined to sign the loan agreement to take another semester. So I just dropped out.
Because you couldn't physically, every time you were in class, it reminds you of a confined environment.
Not even that, more so it was the fact that I was so used to the confined environment that when I got in a school environment, I almost forgot who I was, as a student.
Oh, okay.
The 8 months, it broke me down to make me forget who I was.
Wow, 8 months, right? When you heard people are in jail for years, but I don't want to minimize 8 months because I've never been in jail. I will not even wish that to anybody. My worst enemy.
I don't wish it on anybody either.
Yeah, but you will think that it would take longer to break a man, especially your ambition. And you went to a good school. Well, you went to St. John, right?
Yes.
It's not it was not community college. It was not
I worked hard to get to that level, right? Mm-hmm. And now the level that I was at, I felt, confident in everything. Mm-hmm. And my breaking point was the fact that I was innocent. You know what I mean? If somebody's doing the crime, 8 months is probably oh yeah, I'll take 8 months in a heartbeat. Yeah. But when you're waiting every month to get out, because you didn't do anything wrong, it drains you, and it changes you. So I changed a lot, as a person. I'm fighting, I'm aggressive more. Just anger was in me. So my whole thing was when I got out, anti-cop, smoking weed, Now weed is legal, years later. Yeah. And I'm happy for it because I monetized it. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking like that now, but it's just a lot that came with that.
Now, once you got back home and now you got involved with harder drug, cocaine, what was your mindset when you got arrested this second time?
Fuck, because I didn't want to put my family through the tragedy of me being in jail again or something like that. And I already did on something I didn't do. So now this is something I did do. And it just hurts a little more. I prepared for it and I wanted to just be ready for recovery,
Is this time the fact that this time you did do it and does it bother you or are you scared that people will be like, oh, he done it this time, so maybe the first time he was guilty, not giving you the benefit of the doubt for the first time? Is that something that haunts you?
Not too much because that was 10 years ago, right? And now this is 10 years later. I've changed a lot in those 10 years. So I feel like people that I had in my corner then they probably already left if they felt that way, that Jeff, he probably did this. But the real ones who stayed with me from the 10 years, they seen the progression in me and change and growth and everything like that. So now this time, it's just slip up, and I choose to let, people know.
To be, from forward, because some people, and I've talked to some of our friends, when you get accused of something you didn't do for so long, nobody believes you.
Right.
There is that switch in your brain that whatever, I might do it as well because nobody believes me, right?
That is the thing.
And
Definitely.
So many people here in this, who are mandated here, who have job record all the same, when they're told that they're clean, when they say that they're clean, but they're not, nobody believes them. They're like, what's the difference? I might be as high,
You get used to that feeling of like, all right, nobody believes me anyway, so I might as well, you know what I mean? And for this go around, I know that I voluntarily, January. Now January, clean no throughout. And I've been steadily making the steps to change, as a person, because I have to now. It's mandated to me. I needed to, and I can't, live with that pain again. So that's my driving force at the moment. Everything else comes from just the support of loved ones. My girl, my sister, whoever doesn't know, I choose not to
tell
break
her
heart again.
That's good.
And that's just because I know what that first one did to her. So this time it would be like, another. But little does she know, it's all reconciled, and I am, I'm in this program until, I'm not.
Yeah. So far in this program, since you've been, did you had any incident relapse or anything like that?
I have, and that's mostly because I'm so used to living a certain way in my life. Now that everything is controlled, I'm kind of not used to obeying it. You know what I mean? Like my birthday was in January.
Okay.
My, holidays, I want to drink, you know what I mean? Or Thanksgiving even.
And full disclosure, you're a Giants fan. Where the Giants won their first playoff game, I was thinking about you, man.
Yes.
I was thinking about you. I was about to text you and be like, hey, man, be careful. Don't burn down the house, man.
Listen, I was very upset when they lost, but very happy again.
Yeah.
See, I could use a substance, happy or sad. You know what I mean?
Like
it's not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I think that in my mind, ultimately it is a bad thing. It's breaking me down and everything like that. But yes.
I'm a sport guy too, and drinking, when sports is involved is something that I had to learn not how to do now. Now I'm able to watch sports and not drink anymore, but I cannot watch sports in bars and places like that.
Can I ask how you do it? Without just a casual drink, do you isolate yourself from people who are?
No, usually when I'm watching, I go to pubs. I'm a pub guy. I watch soccer, that's usually what I do.
Yeah.
But now that I'm sober, I watch game at home.
Okay.
But if I were to go watch, I haven't tried to watch it at the pub because I'm I don't know how I'm going to react my emotions. If my team loses or win, I might be overwhelmed by the emotions.
I understand.
I'm the guy who screams at the TV when the ref, doesn't see. Yeah, exactly. I'm not there yet. So, I haven't been to a game, basketball or football. I haven't been to because that's the sad part of this, things like sports, especially, or concert. I've been to a concert sober. That I can do.
Okay.
That was great. Music sober is actually I enjoy the music more. I don't need to.
It's actually a coping thing that I think we've been taught. Listen to music if you feel like you want to go use sometimes, So music, I definitely feel that.
But being to a sports venue I haven't tried that yet. I think even if I were to, I'm gonna go with friends and not by myself because I get too emotional when my team is fucking up. I'm sorry. You don't know what might happen. So I totally understand.
Right.
But so What stops you from staying sober most of the time? Like besides,
probably I could only blame myself if anything stops me. Like I think I want to. That's the thing. It's the urge. It's the want to feel free, even maybe from that stigma of being locked up or whatever. Like I just feel like I can make my own decisions. I don't want people making them for me.
Yeah.
And I know that this is definitely something I need and something that I have to do. So that also stops me.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do this, it's the other way.
Yeah, it's the way it's back to jail. But what do you think of the outpatient program in general?
I love it, and I loved it more with former counselor Joe. He was amazing. He definitely gave me a different ideology about things. Like I think of things differently. Adversity and just different things.
Yeah.
They come now, and I'm more prepared for them. So I think the program did that for me.
Okay.
For sure. And like patience, for sure.
Yeah, patience and stuff, yeah. Because staying here for like 3 hours at a time sometimes it's not,
It breaks you down.
Yeah.
Like I've been here for 3 hours since the beginning, and it kind of breaks me down because I want to do more outside of this. But
what do you think, are you satisfied with the fact that people who are mandated, people who are here voluntary, people who have CPS cases, or they're like, what do you think of all of us being in the same group? Do you think sometimes we should be divided into, because sometimes I feel bad. Personally, I feel out of place when like murderers are talking about CPS cases and, I don't have kids, I cannot put my 2 cents in it.
Right.
And I don't want to be, I don't want to tell them, oh, you guys are taking all the time of the group, especially if you have only 1 hour. Like, I let them talk.
You have to, honestly. That's why I'm at with it, because like I've been more, what do they call it when you're accepting of people's problems? Like, because obviously I said I had a coke problem. People could have a different, totally crazy, in my eyes, maybe problem, but that's their reality. So they have kids, or they have a heroin problem, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think we should be separated a little bit. But hearing their stories, it still kind of helps a little bit. Because then I almost minimize my situation, or think like, well, at least I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it can definitely give you, if I understand correctly what you said, gives you like another perspective on things. I'm not gonna lie, there are days where I'm like, bro, I don't want to hear about. I'm not feeling it because
I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there.
Sometimes,
like you said, I don't have kids either, so I'm thinking in my head like, all right, here we go.
There we go. It's
now I just gotta
many
listen and take it.
And that's what I think when our counselor, shout out to Joe, taught us about stoicism and adversity. That's why I learned here, because I'm voluntary as well. And
that whole thing too as well, like I didn't realize a lot of people are here voluntarily. So that's more the reason why I take it back, because they don't even have to be here, but they want to listen to somebody like myself or whoever who is mandated. And that, it could be a separation, but it's the same thing. We all just want to change.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, some of those mechanisms are like coping mechanisms and stuff are like they work across, doesn't matter if you're suffering from a bad divorce or like, from a law issue, like, issues with the law. CPS, yeah.
I think they all tie into a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because we all use like, drugs and alcohol to cope with it. And there's definitely some overlap. So what's your support network right now? Do you go to AA? Do you go to those groups?
I don't choose to go to AA because this is my first time actually putting myself in therapy, and I felt like this is enough for me, because like I don't want to be too attached to anything. So like, we're going to pick up another vice. I choose to go to the gym. That's my other support.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? Like, I focus so well in the gym because my brain is, getting those endorphins that I was lacking probably during the whole time of using. And now I also have a support as a girlfriend, a relationship. My girl D is, been by my side for this whole time.
You can talk if you know.
No, I like the flow, you guys.
It's just, it's just a good network of cousins. I have family, like just little things that like get you through it. I think.
Do you have a therapist outside of this, or just the counselor?
I had Joe. Now this week is gonna be, this upcoming months is gonna be tougher because it's an adjustment. But he prepared us for change, and I forget the saying now, but change is inevitable, but you have to know the wisdom to know the difference of, what is good or bad, and I'm thinking it could be good because I've learned so much.
Is that something that you think of getting, have you ever thought of getting a therapist after getting out of Rikers?
I didn't, and that's the thing. Maybe I missed a good, portion of my life because I could have maybe got it nipped in the butt right then.
Yeah.
Because I never did that. I would self-medicate with weed and my cousins and the environment and whatever it was. And now everything has changed.
Yeah, because we don't talk about trauma and things that happen to us, especially when you're a minority. We still, like we were talking earlier about.
It's a big stigma.
Stigma. Yeah, we were talking about personalities like Charlemagne the God, who wrote 2 books about his deal with mental health, and he was he's a big voice in the hip hop community, and he big advocate of getting help, therapy, and mental health. But even that, is something that has been very recent, the past 5 years.
Definitely. The vulnerability started coming out, I would say, like you said, in the past 5 years. People's talking about mental health, people talking about their problems, addiction, whatever it is.
Yeah. Me personally, I have the group. I use a counselor in the group. I don't have my own therapist. I tried. But when I tried during COVID, I was using some of those apps like BetterHelps or what's the other one?
I Am Sober.
Yeah, like those. Those online therapists that you see online and stuff.
Right.
And it was too impersonal for me, so I stopped that. When I'm gonna graduate this program, which will hopefully pretty soon, I'm gonna probably have to have a one-on-one therapist, because I'm so comfortable not saying anything too. But I noticed that talking about it, even when sometimes you don't want to, can be beneficial, So that's why sometimes I force myself to come to group because it can be very, very, very
helpful.
Yeah, helpful and stuff.
This platform too, I salute you on Stairway to Redemption because this is definitely something that I needed. I don't like to always talk about it, but you need to talk sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go back to the judicial system and its vicious cycles of being wrongly accused and stuff, because that's something that definitely. Do you believe without that experience, that bad experience, you will have been here?
That first one?
Yeah.
I would have been to this point?
Yeah.
Probably not. Because what's crazy is that when I was drinking and smoking weed in college, I never thought problem. But am I giving them props for locking me up for no reason? No. And that only made more problems.
Yeah.
Mentally, just draining me, and then I see stories like Khalif Browder, when, it always gets me emotional, but that kid had a backpack, and they put him in solitary confinement. I feel like it's never meant for us. It's a quote, W.E. Du Bois, he was we can't fault a system that was never meant for us. So when I hear laws are implemented and they only target a certain group, stop and frisk, just little things that I've seen in my life, growing up here in America. I I don't like the way the system is set up for you to fail. And then when they take you away, you can never really elevate again. You get a felony on your record, you can never really get a job that anybody could get.
Yeah.
And you have to do entrepreneuristic things like start over and build your own.
Yeah.
And I did take the academic route because I thought that was the process. But then when it failed me, it didn't fail me, but the criminal justice system failed me in the sense of detaining me for that long.
Yeah.
I had to start thinking differently, you know?
Yeah. Because like, you know, like even if we are told like you should get an education, you should get a school, there's always something that can happen to you, you know, that's very unfortunate. And so many, I can think of other people who, you know, fell into addiction because of wrongfully being accused. Your story is
Central Park 5 as well.
Yeah, Central Park 5 is another one. And when they get out, they're so alienated and then they become what they were accused of.
Right.
And people try to retroactively tell that, oh, they were like that all along. But that's not true.
Right.
Like, you know, spending like even 6 months in jail can break a man so much because there are drugs in jail. Like,
yeah, it is.
You know?
It is. But
like,
you know
also
what?
when you get out and nobody wants to hire you, like, what are you going to do?
You feel your self-worth, like, less of a man, less of a person. Like, you don't even feel the same high that you would of achieving something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was achieving good grades, I would be very ecstatic. I'd be proud. Now, little moments don't get me as proud anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I still want to make people proud around me, feel that, you know, same acceptance and love, but you know what? It's, you know, few and far in between now. But I'm not looking for it. I'm just trying to keep my happiness and keep my, you know, sanity about myself.
So, like, where do you see yourself going from there now? Like, how is it looking for you? How long of this you have to?
I have to complete a year here. I'm still building with my family a great business, Jelly Donut. You know, salute to them. We're trying to just take over the world, and I feel like I said, entrepreneur is usually the only way for some people. And not like it is my only way, because I do work out and I am a member of a gym export, and I try to keep myself physically in shape, because I feel like that alone is confidence boosting for myself. Like, I'm building my self-esteem back.
Yeah.
And that just having things to strive for in general, waking up every day positive. You know.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking of getting a group of guys like you and me who work out a lot with other, like, my coach where I box, like, you know.
So you do boxing, that's nice.
Yeah, kickboxing, yeah. He trains somebody who is also very well versed into the world of addiction and recovery. And it has been proven that, like, working out and endorphins and those things helps basically with dopamine levels and being, staying recovered, you know, because a lot of people talk about AA and those kind of stuff. I love AA, I'm part of it. But when it comes to activities,
yeah, the gym is that.
The gym, it's hard to beat that. Like,
right.
When I go to the gym, I even had to go to the gym before this.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat, like, you know.
Especially for guys like us too, we might, like, I feel like you're a very calm and also smart individual. Like, you use your words lightly sometimes. I do it too. The anger pent up though.
Oh yes.
Is in us.
Oh yes.
And there's only a couple ways to let it out.
Yeah, there's only a couple of ways.
Sex
to let it,
and physical fitness, like, you can't really let those things out.
No, yeah, because, like, sometimes, man, I'm telling you, like, my anger is so much that, like, I'm like, yeah, get out of the way. You know, it needs to be expressed somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it gotta
like
be.
let out. Yeah.
What's the word when you, like, you kind of try to transfuse your energy, like, you know what I mean? Like, your anger energy, you implement it into lifting a heavier weight or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's
I like
true.
doing that.
Like, there's one time in group, I was not having it with somebody. I left. I left group, man. Yeah, because somebody was talking. But I went straight to the gym.
Right.
Best workout I ever had.
Me too.
Yeah.
Most of the times when I'm angry in a group, if I'm pissed off, whatever, life hit me hard, I'm just like, I can't wait to go to the gym. And that's my motivation.
Your motivation. That was definitely the best workout I had in a long time versus staying. And that's what I like sometimes about group. It pains me to stay and to listen to somebody sometimes who doesn't get it, because the problem with these programs, sometimes you have people who don't want it. Who are here because, the law tells them, but they don't want it. They don't consider themselves addicts.
Don't even try.
They don't even try.
Don't show up.
They don't show up. And those
overuse.
When those people talk open their mouth and say something stupid, they're not on the same wavelength.
I had a guy sleeping in the class all the time. Well, I'm not gonna say no name.
No, don't say no name.
Listen, people sleeping. And I'm just like,
and then they talk to you
and for 3 hours anyway. You might as well get something out of it.
Yeah. And they try to talk to you as equal, and sometimes I cannot stand that. But learning how to deal with that and not just yell or use your fists. That's why I push myself at coming here, even if I have a different counselor, different because just learning how to control and not. That's also something why I learn in working in retails while I'm doing. This is people are gonna throw things at you regardless. You're always master of your reaction, how you react to how things are being thrown to you.
That's the only thing you can control.
That's the only thing you can control, how you react, And that's definitely a skill that I'm learning more and more.
Patience is a virtue, they say.
Yeah. If you could tell yourself, your younger self, something, now that you know where you're at right now, what would it be, If you could travel in time or something.
This is crazy. I don't know, but I could think of 2 things.
Yeah.
Honestly, that came to mind, don't drink. I don't know why that came to mind, but that night I was intoxicated, and me coming back from a party, I have no idea what the hell's happening, and I'm just in a state of mind where I probably could have explained myself better.
Yeah.
But I can't say drinking because I probably would have still ended up in cuffs. So I would tell my younger self, just always be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
People, places, and things.
Yeah. And what about those, if you had a message to people who are going to the same stuff as you right now, being wrongfully accused or being inside the judicial system, who are about to give up, or who, like you, are, innocent and won trial and got out, but forgot about their dream and don't go back to it and have a hard time going back to who they were. If you were to talk to those people, what would you say?
I would definitely say you got to keep going.
Yeah.
And
therapy. Go to therapy.
You got to go to therapy. You got to remember who you are. I know that's cliche like the Lion King, but remember who you are. Remember your passion. Remember everything that you worked for. Life does get better. Life throws you obstacles. You just got to jump through the hoop.
Yeah.
That's it.
Definitely.
Focus. Everything comes to those who wait, but who actually try.
Yeah. All right. So we're reaching the end of this interview. The floor is yours. Would you like to say something? Or Diana too, you can speak, if you want to say something, what do you think about Jeff? How is he now? How long you guys been together, if you don't mind me?
We've been together for about a year and I think a few months. And he's the love of my life, and I've seen big improvement from him.
Love you too.
It's on record now.
But no, big improvement, and I'm very proud of him for sticking through being in group and just focusing on doing better And life does get better and better, and you got to just be hopeful and just pray and be, have that faith too, and just do good in the world, because I believe when you do put good into the world, you get good brought back to you. And I know that's hard to say, like, if bad things
happen to you all the time. Yeah.
Bad things happen to good people.
Yeah.
And there's no explanation for it. So instead of being brought down, how, which I think the world tries to bring people down, I think that's just like a thing. It's up to you to have that control and to have that stability and to have that mindset that I'm not going to let anybody tear me down. I'm going to lift my head up. If I fall down, I'm going to stand back up, and I'm going to keep going and going, because there's just so much to experience in life, and you just want to be happy. And,
true.
And he's done that. He's definitely he's taken his situations that have been hard for him, but he's still an amazing person.
Do you see sometimes, like, when he's, I don't want to use the word give up, but when he sees the thing, like when he's having a hard time, like you can tell, like,
Yes.
And like what do you usually like do to like bring him up to level, give him confidence? Like, is that, like, do you guys sometimes talk about it?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Yeah.
He opens up to me so in so many ways, and I'm so honored that he has that trust, and
it's necessary to have a support.
Yeah, it's this, because
and I tell him all the time, like, he could tell me anything without judgment, and I'm just there, and I'm an ear to listen, that listens, and I just always tell him how much he's loved, and I think love is a very powerful thing and can overcome a lot.
Yeah.
So when he is feeling down, I just always remind him that, he's loved, and we're going to get through this, and just say whatever you want to say on the table. And sometimes I don't have anything to say. I'll just let him say it. And I think that it's just getting it out is helpful. And then, then we'll go get some pizza or something. Or I'll make him a nice meal. And, so.
All right.
Definitely.
Thank you, guys. Thanks to Diana for chiming in at the end of this, and thank you, Jeff. And guys, I will see you for the conclusion. Bye. Alright, guys, this concludes episode 22 of Stairway to Redemption. Big thanks to Jeff and also Diana, for his girlfriend, for jumping in at the end of the episode. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing your story and like the struggle of being victim of our judicial system and the impact that it can have on somebody's ambitions much later in life. So thanks for being my guest. Quick note, next week's going to probably be a solo episode, because I haven't done one of those in a while, and I have something to announce. I'm also still working on getting the Patreon thing together. I should get it ready by next week, and I will see you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.